selected a medley of musical numbers that are appropriate for such a dramatic... Skippy, I shouted. Please, no freaking show to dream the impossible dream. Fight the unbeatable foe. Oh, bollocks. Major Smythe summed up what everyone was thinking, and we all cracked up. It was a breach of discipline, and it was totally worth it. Be willing to march into hell for that heavenly cause. Knowing Skippy, there was nothing for us to do but let him finish. Even though his tuneless voice was like listening to strangle a cat.
Okay, cool.
Incredibly powerful elder AI who could tell
Why
star, but he would not sing.
am I so laggy?
And I'll always dream the impossible dream. Yes, and I'll reach
Okay.
the unreachable.
Okay. Hello. Am I frozen? Can you see me? Is the video frozen? Can you tell? Oh no. But it's lagging again. I don't know why the video is lagging so bad. Or is that just me? So it's not like lagging and being weird? Because on my end it's like real juddery. Oh, cool. So no lags, drags, slags, crags. Well, that's good to know. On Facebook, I'm not seeing who you are. That's annoying. Oh, good. And you can hear me. The levels are okay. Sorry, I haven't streamed on this stream for a while because I went through the move and all kinds of madness, and I can't stream at home. All right, could move the S rush screen. Oh, I see what you mean. Is that lag or is that okay? Is that lag? It's super weird. Because on my side I'm still frozen. Oh, okay. No. For some reason. Okay. Yay! I've got like a 10-minute lag or something over here. I guess you're all not getting that, huh? Alright, well that's good news. Because I still, on mine, I still haven't, it hasn't even started spinning yet. That's crazy. Well, hello. Alright, so I guess I can't watch that as any kind of reference as to what's actually going on in the world. Shocking. So here we are. I am about to, well, because of the quarantines and stuff, I realized that I'm actually, this is shocking, I'm an essential worker, so I can actually come here and stream because I can't stream from home. And I lost a bunch of jobs, so I'm not going to be as busy on those as normal. Oh, okay. Oh, I know what that probably is. Hold on. Is the sound turned down? And are you getting it in stereo or out of both speakers or only one speaker? No, hold on. I might have the sound turned on. Is that better? Is the volume okay? You still have an echo? Does everyone have an echo, or is it just Sapphire? Because I think I turned all the other sound off. This two screen thing's funny. There we go. Oh, I wonder if it is two different mic inputs. Let's see. How is that? Is that better? Because I might have had one of the other mics turned on. Yeah, I had a different device turned on. Oh, good. And it's coming out on both channels. Score. We're killing it. Look at that. Woo! All right. Well, that's good. So we're coming through. I'm surprised my Facebook link worked. It's funny though, if you notice, everything from Facebook comes in as unknown. So I don't know who. All right, there we go. Score. And you say you can see the movements okay? Right? Everything's good, not lagging. Right on. What time is it? Oh, it's almost 5. Holy Hannah, it's taken forever. I had a old video driver in here and it kept like crashing and it wasn't working, and then finally it came out with the little window. Oh, you should change your video driver. I'm like, I've been sitting here for 45 minutes and now you prompt. Why didn't you prompt me that to begin with? I don't know. Stressful. See how it is. Okay, so how's everyone doing in the grand world of quarantines and madness, huh? I can't believe all this crap. It's insanity at its finest. And no, we don't have a problem here in America. No, we passed 100,000 cases. Not that that's a problem. Nah, it's all good. Fucking idiots. Oh, look, I'm on my stream. I get to say it. Wait, I'm not on Pixelogic. Fucking idiots. I can say fucking idiots. Fucking idiots. Okay, I feel much better. Oh, I know. Oh, no. Trust me, I know. We have the place in Gandia. And Gandia got nailed because it's a little beach community. And it's not really a foreign beach. A lot of the beach, for those of you who don't know Spain, a lot of the beaches in the Valencia area are basically, they've been purchased by the British. The British bought a lot of vacation homes there. And so needless to say, Alicante and Valencia, and all the little beach communities along there are all owned by the Brits. So they're big sky rises, there are tons of pubs, where Gandia is sort of a beach community for the locals. It's not nearly as big. It's more about the Spanish. But I guess there are a lot of people from Madrid who own houses there. So when Madrid started to blow up, they all went to Gandia. So Gandia got it. And they actually have police checking you. They don't want more than one person in the car. They actually are checking where you're going and where you're not going. It's severe there. But hey, America's #1. No longer behind China. We have more infections, you know. Make America great again. Woo! Yeah, it's crazy. The nice thing about here is it's private, so it's not open to the public. This is it's called Chehalis Coworks. There's a little town about 20 minutes north of me. And this is actually like a co-op workspace that is started by the city. And when I was looking at the quarantine lists of essential workers, they said artists or musicians providing services through streaming or other technology sources. So I'm allowed to come here and stream, which is pretty awesome to me because I can't stream from home. I don't have the bandwidth. Yeah, because I can actually start a class, because I lost in 3 days probably $8,000 worth of work, and then like projects that were coming up, everyone canceled. So it's like, I was like, oh, that's rough. But see, there we go. Yay, me. Yeah, no, and like, you know, I do the streaming on Pixelogic, and I start at 8, so I'm actually a little too late for most of Americans, right? And so I get East Coast viewers, and then, or I get West Coast viewers, and a few hangers-on who hang out with me, and then we start going through the other time frames, you know, and you start to pick up Europe and Australia and Asia, and it's fascinating to see what other countries are hearing about, you know, what's going on here. It's no joke. It's pretty amazing. You know, none of us have experienced anything like it. And then I just keep hearing, you know, people go, oh, well, it's just like the flu. More people die from the flu than die here, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, but it doesn't all happen at once in one community. You know, that's spread out everywhere. That's not, you know, boom, in one community. And coming from Seattle, we had a bad hit. You know, I mean, I guess 9 medical workers gave it, or 3 medical workers gave it to 9 old folks' homes. So Seattle, until New York blew up, we had the highest death rates in the country. I think we had the first death as well. And it was pretty low, but now, holy hell. I mean, last night we were at 83,000, and now we're well above 100,000 people. So it's gonna get crazy here. People, and I mean, obviously I'm healthy. You know, I don't have any issues. I'm not too worried about the virus itself. Like, I don't have lung problems. I don't smoke, anything like that. But I'm house sitting a house. So my roommate is a 77-year-old woman who smokes. And I'm like, I don't let her go out of the house. I have 99% isopropyl. I spray everything down before I touch it. I'm a psychotic. You're germaphobe. Well, how's it going in Sweden? That's something you never hear about. I mean, I heard the Netherlands got a surprising hit, but is doing okay. But I haven't heard anything about Sweden. I mean, is it bad there to the point that you're all closing things down? Because, I mean, in America, I think 23 states have a domicile at home, or what do they call it now? Shelter at home. Because people don't know what the word domicile means anymore. It used to be domicile in place is what it used to be. But like I said, Americans don't know their own language, so they didn't know domicile. What do you do when you domicile? So they had to shelter in place is now. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I said, you know, the virus is going to hit, and we are going to lose, you know, a substantial number of people. But the economy is going to go nuts. And I don't know that other countries have the same issues that we do. And that is, we have a huge population of gun owners who are insane. You know, I mean, I can't say, I'm a gun owner. I've been shot a couple times, so I'm a firm believer in being able to shoot back. But people are lunatics. And I mean, we're really only in like the second week. Well, really, I'd argue this is really the first full week of people really losing their jobs because of the shelter at home orders. So it's going to be fascinating when it gets to, Trump's out there saying, oh, well, I want to see big churches of people on Easter. It's like, oh, yeah, this is going to be done in 20 days, you raging jackass. But when people really haven't worked for a month, and, they're like, I love the American answer. We'll send them a check for $1,200. It's like, well, that's asinine. I mean, what are you doing? And I'm not a big fan of England's government, but they're like, hey, we'll cover 80% of what you make. And that makes a lot more sense. Oh my God, it's crazy. Hello. Sorry, people on Facebook. All I'm getting is an unknown, so I don't know who you are for some reason. I don't know why. Because when we do restream with Pixelogic, they give me your names. So I don't. Yeah, let me catch up here. Yeah, we do have the tools, but we also have proven that we don't use them well. I mean, the last bailout we gave to the airlines, and Delta was the most notorious. They almost bought back all their stock, and then they gave their CEOs bonuses as opposed to actually, investing in the company, stockpiling, paying their bills. They paid themselves. Yeah. Yeah, the 50%, yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, we didn't take it seriously, and look at how it hit. I mean, last week we were well below Italy, and now we're above China and climbing, probably. I think we were, like I said, we were at 81,000 last night, and now we're well above 100,000. What are we at? Let's see. This is, where is it? And let's update. So from when I came in here, we already had over 1,000 people. But see, 19,986 people, new cases in the last 24 hours. So almost 20,000 in the last 24 hours. And oh shit, look, this is the county I'm in. This is we have 7 confirmed cases in the county, but it was 2 until a couple days ago. It's crazy. Watch this. This is like, so this is Seattle, but you can see it's traveling right down the I-5 corridor. Boop, 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 Portland. Yeah, this is going to be all red here really soon. But, there was like almost no one in the middle of the country earlier. And now you can see all these cases are starting to hit. I mean, it's going to be crazy in a few days. Yeah, we have 1,600 deaths, 427 in the last 24 hours. I am right up here. I'm in a little town right now called Chehalis, so I'm just below. I'm about 2 hours south of Seattle. I'm about an hour north of Portland. But yeah, it's crazy. You can see, like, literally yesterday we only had 1 case or 2 cases, and now in our county we have 7 cases. So and I mean, 7 cases in the county ain't bad, but the fact that I'm coming into the city, I mean, I hose everything. I have my little rubber gloves, and I spray everything down with 99% isopropyl before I touch anything. And I'm a little weird about it, but I mean, if it goes up right, tomorrow this time we'll probably have 130,000 people infected, because it's exponential, and we haven't bent the curve, flattened the curve. We haven't flattened anything. We had Mardi Gras. Did you see? Last week there was a shelter, or 2 days ago there was a shelter in order in Louisiana, and this church was like, oh well, hell, screw it, I'm gonna bus people in from 5 different, what do they call them in New Orleans, parishes. fucking idiots. Actually, we are starting. Actually, I didn't know it's vector. Vector. He changed the name again. One sec. Vector School. Maybe. Kingsley. I think. How do you spell? It's Kingsley, isn't it? He's been my friend for 15. Yeah, it's Kingsley. Sorry. Ryan Kingsley. Vector School. Vector School, Ryan Kingsley. I know he keeps changing the names of the webs. This is how. Okay, hold on. Home. Workshops. I'm not a class, I'm a workshop, I think. So, we're going to start a 6-week thing. Here we go. I don't prefer everyone on Twitch. I like everyone. I just can't see who they are on anything else. YouTube shows me who you are. Yeah, no, the exponential growth is going to be madness. And that's the one thing people don't understand. It's that, more people might die of the flu or whatever, but it doesn't happen, in a week. So the hospital systems can deal with that, where this is pretty dramatic in a lot of ways. Yeah, I can turn it up. How is that? Is that better? Hold on, let me check the volumes on the other page. Is that better? Hey, Gattacore, how's it going? So this is the class that we're starting. I'll put a link up on Instagram as well. Is it not there? Yvonne Blackpixel is from YouTube, so we're sending it somewhere. Hold on, let's see if we can find it. Oh, here we go. This is how I screw myself. There we go. Are these? So should it not be here? Oh yeah, live now. So if you go to Tomas Wittelsbach, and there we go. Right? And you're all getting the restream. So this is the link. That's the link to the YouTube. Right. So yes, we are starting a class. It's 6 weeks. And then I'm still working on my modular thing. Sadly, my OCD hasn't allowed me to be very productive because I've had to learn about sound, and I've had to, I want things to be good. And everyone's like, look, dumbass, just get in there, get everything started, get people paying into it, and then I can pay a professional to help. So I'm working on it, guys. Sorry. Everything was going smooth, and then my business partner screwed me, and I had to move, and I lost like 4 months trying to sort shit out. So I apologize to everyone. There we go. Hey, and look. Oh, it's Tim. Who knew? Yeah, because it's the ventilator thing. It's what's really screwing people because it's different equipment. All right. Alrighty. Hello, kind and gentle folk. Thank you for joining me. This is sort of just a test stream to make sure that my settings are right and I got everything up. I had to redo my stream key and all kinds of silly stuff. So I'm not the most, as any of you who have watched me regularly know, I'm not the most savvy streamer out here. So you have to be patient with me for a minute. Or leave, I guess. We just lost 2 people. That's awesome. All right. So what I think I'm going to do is start streaming. I stream on Pixelogic every Monday. And then what I figure is I will come in during the day and stream from here once a week. And then I'll be doing the class, once a week for 6 weeks. Hey, thank you. I appreciate it. I need to start streaming again because, well, it's nice. It's nice to hang out with you guys. And I don't know. I think that, I think it's something for us to do during the days and stuff because people have already started to lose their damn minds. It's so goofy. People are weird. People are weak and scared. And, you have every right to be scared. You don't have any money, and our country isn't going to help you, sadly. Not from Facebook. I can't see who anyone is. Hey, James. How you doing, my buddy? For those of you who don't know, Jim Binion just joined us. He is one of the most awesome people on the planet. He is insanely smart, insanely talented, and just one of the most beautiful people on the planet. He is super cool. My dear friend. I love him to pieces. And his wife. And his huge dogs. He has the coolest dogs. I have no idea what kind of dogs they are, but they're like the furriest shepherds you've ever seen in your life. They're awesome. Oh, hi, Mark. Of course it was you. I'll tell you what, finding a caster, since most of my casters were in New York, I don't think they considered casting an essential work because I haven't heard hide nor hair from them. Hey, how we doing, you bones? Yeah, so I didn't really have anything planned to sculpt today. I was just trying to check my settings and make sure it was there and get everything sort of in order and Oh, no. I'm not a coronavirus doubter. Don't get me wrong. I think people have I I don't know how other countries are dealing with it, but I would say people have a lot to be scared, not just for their health, but for their economy and their money. Because you see these wonderful $1 trillion numbers, but I have absolutely no faith in any way, shape, or form that any of these idiots give a shit about you. And in turn, that money is going to wind up never seeing the people who need it. I firmly believe that. I mean, we saw what happened the last time we had great bailouts, and you know. Well, what's people showed me. God, what were they? Yesterday or on the last stream, we went over. Like, people kept asking about a few of the other printers. And what I was seeing is that there was one that was $395, $400 photon. That might have been one of the more expensive ones, up to the 5,000 range. Formlabs is $4,000 for the whole package now. I think B9's entry is about seven to 9,000. It's more expensive than the Formlabs, because you used to be able to get a B9 disassembled for about the same price. If you're just printing small stuff, the Solus is a good machine. I mean, it prints beautifully, and actually, I'm quite fond of its support algorithm. Their software is still a little clunky to use, but it's good. Because it's not just the printer; a lot has to do with this, with the software that comes with them. Because there can be, a perfectly good printer, but the smallest point size that it'll support would be like, 0.5 millimeter, and you just, okay, great. That's that just wiped out like a handful of my detail. So I haven't used. I use a SolidScape. Binion uses a B9 with really good results. I've seen his stuff. But I use a SolidScape or a Formlabs, and that's really, okay, the other shop has an Envision Tech, but that's pushing $200,000 with its micro lenses, so I don't think that's, I've yet to see SolidScape's SLA printer. I don't know anyone who has. Yeah, but once again, it's XY, I think, was, I want to say it was like 125 microns. It might have been 80 microns. There was nothing less than 80 microns that I remember, and I know we looked at the photon. Yeah, don't procrastinate. Procrastination is fear, right? You're procrastinating because you're not making something you think it should look like, or you hear writer's block or artist block, and really that's just fear of making things that suck, And what you have to understand is we all make things that suck all the time. And it's just, I make a lot more things, so I can edit out the ones that don't suck. We all make stuff that sucks. So the only way to get through that stuff is just keep making, and don't work on the same piece. Start a portrait of your dog, start something just completely different, and then go right back to what you were working on. But the problem is we get very precious about our work, and when you're precious about the work, it means you care about how it comes out. And I think you got to put yourself into a slightly more Zen state about it, where you're just making, because the more you make, the better you'll be. I have over 100 terabytes of models. So the fact that I have, 20 great pieces isn't surprising. So yeah, you have to work through that stuff, and it means just sit down and do it. And like I said, if you're having problems, pick something that I don't really have anything in here. Pick a toy or a flower or a cool shaped vase, and try to copy it, right? Because that way you have something to judge yourself on, as opposed to continually to try to make stuff out of your head, right? Because creating out of nothing can be difficult. And that's why, even the great masters, they start out copying, So there's nothing wrong with, and when I say copying, I'm not saying knock off my piece and sell it. What I'm saying is, hey, here's a water bottle. I'm going to sculpt this water bottle, and I'm going to sculpt the text and all of that. And, then after you've made this water bottle, you can tell if it looks like it or not. There's a judgment key there that's much easier than, oh, is that good or bad, when you're making it up, because your knee-jerk reaction is, well, I meant to do that. Yeah, you're supposed to have 3 noses. So it's easier to work through things if you're sculpting from reality, I guess. And so that's what I would say about procrastinating. Well, it's a beautiful printer. It's just way too small for me. I can't even do a bracelet on that. It's just so small at 25 microns. But I like the resins. I like their support, software. Meal's great. I have no problems with any of them. It's just, and they gave me one when they first came out with them a few years ago, and it made beautiful prints. It's just too small. I make big things, and sadly, it's not designed for big things. Problem with resin jewelry is, one, it's not biocompatible, and two, it's rough, right? So the resins tend to gas off, and they can, they're chemicals. Now, Formlabs has a few biosafe materials, but I've yet to really play with it with jewelry, And if you can make it out of the biosafe materials, I think you're much better. Most people don't care. They just print stuff in standard black and sell it. And people are making a living off of it on Etsy, I guess. Or, well, they appear to, I don't know how much they sell, but, people are selling it out there. My only problem would be longevity, because most of the resins are very brittle. Now, Formlabs just introduced a new tuff that has some ductile, what's the flexibility, like ductility, it's with higher ductility or whatever, and it looks like it could be an option for producing like parts that you could sell, right? And it's sort of this dark gray color. So I would worry about biocompatibility more than anything else. And then, like I said, most of the resins shatter very easily. So finding something that you could make it in that doesn't explode if you drop it on cement, or, you tap on a bar top or something like that, would be my only reticence about resin jewelry. Yeah, well, and that's the thing. If you have a printer, print, make a lot of prints. And I think that's the only way to get to be a good designer out of CAD too, because if you're not holding that stuff in your hand, you're not, you're not learning, knowing what works and what doesn't half the time is, because intrinsic, you're like, oh, I need to dig the lines deeper, and that's not the answer most of the time, actually. I slept like crap last night. I can't breathe. My allergies are blowing up again. No, you know what? Everybody, let me tell you, we all make stuff that's garbage. I mean, we can scroll through this and we'll see a lot of garbage, I assure you. Actually, we could go through this list and just see a bunch of garbage. Don't stress about that. The best way is just to keep making. Honestly. Just hours. Because once you stop thinking about how you're making it and you just start making it, you're instantly going to be, 3 times as good. Because you're not sitting there going, oh, well, which brush should I use? Oh, I remember doing that on that, but how did I do that? It's tricky, but no, without a doubt, just making is the key to that one for sure. Shapeways, I don't hate Shapeways, don't get me wrong. And actually, I think Shapeways is now, for their gold and stuff, going through Carrera Castings in New York, which is a good casting facility. They're professional. They do nice work. But Shapeways isn't a professional manufacturer. They have a bunch of print. Now they have some really nice prototyping printers. But they're very expensive. And, it's not like having a relationship with a caster, because they're not going to do that extra work for you. You're just the next order, and that's really how they treat a lot of stuff. And I think when you start getting involved with precious metals and stuff, you want a relationship with the people who are doing your casting. Yeah, these were the ones that we were looking at the other night. Anycubit and Elegoo. Once again, they're, if you're not, see, the thing is this, when you hear me talking about printers and stuff, I'm talking about being able to make a living with it, right? I'm not talking about experimenting. I'm not talking about being a maker. I'm not talking about, because a lot of people, like I got mugged the other day. Well, you're just being unrealistic. Some of us are. Well, I'm like, look, I'm talking about for business, for a jewelry business. And, if you're making high resolution jewelry, you need something, that at least prints 50 microns, or it's garbage. You're not going to have XY detail. And so that's where you'll hear me say, I really view Formlabs as, an entry-level professional machine. Because in our world, you can spend $200,000 on a printer that does nothing but print waxes, right? And so often there's a conflict in what I'm saying to what people are thinking I'm saying, right? Man, if you can get a printer for $400 that has an 80 XY resolution, well, great. That's going to be a lot of fun, right on. But you're not going to be able to make a living off of it unless you do big, smooth things, If you don't want any detail, that's rad. Usually when I'm talking about printers and I'm criticizing or saying this is good about a printer, it's usually my opinions on whether you can make a living off of that printer. If you're just looking for something to make chess pieces for your kids, hell, a $400 printer is obviously the way to go. Yeah, there's no unknown. No, sorry, I don't remember you, because sadly my restream is not sending me names from Facebook. Yes, people really sell resin jewelry. Yeah. See, 3D print resin. Now a lot of this is miniatures and dies. But I was looking, someone showed me, well, there are lots of pages here. Okay, hold on. 3D printed resin jewelry. You know, that looks like that's printed in tough. Yeah, my guess is this is printed on a Form Labs in tough. I have no idea what an NOK is. Yeah, these are tough. So yeah, there's 3D printed triangular cuff brace, 132 NOK. Well, hello, George. How are we doing? Folklore, 1984. Search. 1 second. FALK. Oh, is that FALKOR? Did I spell it wrong? FALKOR. FALKOR 1984. Hello, how are you doing? That's dark. Oh, it's Ghost of Christmas Future has joined us. Yeah, no, 3D printing, most people are going to go lost wax without a doubt. It's just a trend that a lot of, now if you have a filament printer, you can feasibly print, you know, stuff that'll hold out a lot longer. But a lot of the SLAs just are so fragile, you know, as your base material. There are a handful of people who make them. But if you're dealing with cheaper machines, I don't know many robust resins, you know. Hey, Luke, how's it going, my brother? Yeah, of course. Without a doubt. It starts April 18th. But yeah, I mean, we can talk about it without a doubt. Oh, it's cheap. It's cheap. Wow, that means I'm not going to make any money. Damn it, Jen. Oh, yeah, you want to do baby steps. You just want to make $100,000 a year selling pendants? Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, at the end of the day, that that just comes down to I mean, being able to sell enough of them. Because Astor and Orion, the earring company that I started. Oh, the photon's 47 microns. Yeah, is that its XY? Oh, cool. Yeah, and that's the $400. I mean, you can't beat that. That's great. I mean, 50 microns is still a little big for what I do, but I can design for 50 microns for sure. Sadly, I need like 8 microns XY. That would make me so happy. Even 10 microns wouldn't be bad. But I mean, like, that's 25 microns. Actually, everything I do production-wise is 25 microns. Yep, that's exactly it. That's how you go about it. Black Pixel, the key, what you're going to run to is mass fabrication, right? Because you're obviously going to be, casting a lot. And if you want to clear $100,000 in a year selling $60 to $100 things, that's a lot of sales. That's a lot of pieces to move. And if you have a distribution network, great. I've seen people work in ZBrush Core and do nice work. I've never used it, so I don't know what it offers. I know it didn't allow you to export STLs for a while there, but I think they fixed that. But sadly, a lot of the features that I've built into my workflow are in ZBrush, that are not in Core. So I think I'd probably throw myself off a cliff if I had to go back to Core and actually try to, work in it. Just sitting around playing in it, I'm sure. But I know people, like I've had students who did very well making models off of Core. The problem is that there are a handful of features that are, as far as I'm concerned, incredibly important in retaining good. I mean, does it have decimation tools in it? I'm not sure. I think that is the YouTube link, if I'm not mistaken. So Black Pixel, the key is, if you are actually trying, because I'm going to tell you, if you are a garage maker, right? If you're making jewelry on your own, you're going to find a caster to do it. That is going to be a hard sell, clearing $100,000 in a year, because you've got to sell a lot of numbers. And like I said, if you have a district, so like here's an example. Astor and Orion, the jewelry, the earring company that I started with a friend. Here, let's see. Right. And this stuff's all very affordable. This is made in stainless steel. It's vapor deposition, DVP. It's plating, except it's not done in a solvent. It's done positively magnetizing or ionizing this. The metal is negatively ionized and they bind or something like that. PVD. So it's plating. It's just a different sort of plating. But, it's plated with with real gold, it's just at like half a micron thick. And you can see our stuff is 75, $95 a pair. And, once again, I told her it's going to take, a few years to get up and running, because with jewelry, people have to believe in the brand in a lot of ways, or you have to be in a good distribution outlet. And, I think the first year we might have made $18,000 to $20,000, I think. And she's out there hustling, But William Henry, I made a line of jewelry for William Henry, and in 1 year they made, I think it was $9.5. It was either $9.5 or $11.5 million, and but they had 500 and something stores that already carried their line, so it instantly fed in. They already had a high price tag, so they could do that because I think the cheapest piece is like $500 or $400, something like that. So $100,000 is not a little amount of money to be made in the jewelry industry. There aren't a lot of, unless you have a lot of money behind you for marketing and this and that, it's tricky to get that kind of foothold in a year. Hey. No, that's cool. Will it take a hit on cement? Yeah, so you have good market saturation already. That's great. That'll help a lot, without a doubt. But, and were you saying that you couldn't afford or didn't want to afford a Form Labs? Yeah. Well, I think you have a far bigger head start on a lot of people, right? Because you already have your marketing set in. Do you not have an Instagram and all of that? That's probably the easiest way to introduce it. Print it and get people excited about the prints, and then, go out and do your minimum order at some place, and is probably how I'd go about it. That's through Spector in I think it's St. Petersburg. It's in Florida. Yeah. Yeah, it is scary. But at the end of the day, I don't think you can go wrong buying a printer, especially, like I said, I'm not familiar with all of B9's resins. But, Formlabs in particular has spent a ton of money on their material sciences. And so there are materials that can do all kinds of stuff. I would say recently I've printed in far more of the non-castable resin, like tough and rigid, than I have in the castable, because I was building. Sadly, I don't have pictures of the actual jigs. Nope. Come on, you. Into the Fire. They have a very good marketing machine behind them, let me tell you. These things. So, I printed that in gray, and it's like a standard jig. I just put a little spring in there so that comes and pops in, and made a little spacer bar, and then I made these out of tough, and these are my drilling guides for my glasses molds. And you can see that I just printed these in tough, and it holds all the parts. And I could have been a lot more resin conservative with a lot of these, but I had the parts and I have a bunch of tough resin at the moment, so it didn't bother me making them. And those are the drill guides for these, so when they come in. But I sent them to Spain, so I don't actually have pictures of the parts. This is just I don't have pictures of the actual pieces. That's the parts. I was going to print another set, but my printer is having issues at the moment. Grr. Yeah, it's tricky. I mean, a lot of the easy ways of going about stuff is to, put up renderings and get people's feedback on the renderings and kind of get them excited about the pieces. That's one way to start. And then, if you don't have a printer, contact a friend who has a printer and print, a handful of them out and get people excited about the fact that you're starting to make jewelry, and then slowly creep up on, say, make 5 of each piece in a standard size. I imagine, is it women or men's? I'm not sure. Make 7s and 8s or something like that. And, make a couple and, make them like a little deal on your Instagram thing and get people excited about the idea that you're generating jewelry is probably how I'd go about it. That's probably how to do it. Because it's funny, this is a line of jewelry that we've been playing with that actually started out with this Gothic stuff. Sadly, I only started doing this in November, so none of this is in order. Yeah, sort of like this was the original idea on the rings. Right, sort of this Gothic-y, rose windowy sort of feel, right? And then this is the wallet chain, and then that shifted to this stuff, right? And then that wallet chain, you can see we kind of converted it to with the stones and the metals, converted it to this feeling, and now it's kind of going to this. So, smiley faces and tripping mushrooms. So, needless to say, a line of jewelry can change dramatically over time quickly. Like that's a zipper pull. Right, this is not the finished version. I have the finished version in here. Let's see. Well, that's interesting. It's not there. I always love when I put things on drives and then they just disappear. Like I had this finalized and who the hell knows where it went? No clue. Yeah, it's fun. So, the development of line takes a while, and especially when you're working with a designer who changes his mind regularly. You can see that designing 18 pieces can take a year, and then maybe some more. And sadly, trying to get things cast right now is a little tricky because some of the casting places are definitely not open. So Tim, will that take, like if you drop it onto cement or something, does it shatter? Does it have that? A lot of the resin, and like if you're making a bracelet, a lot of times it doesn't have the flexibility to get around your wrist, you know. That's where the new Formlabs Tough, actually, I saw a little thing on it the other day. They gave a little webinar on it. And it actually, I was fairly impressed. I mean, as impressed as you can with do they have the little... No, that's the old Tough. Materials. Engineering. Oh, it's funny, they don't even have Tough on there right now. Oh, Tough and Durable. They used to have like a little... Well, that's fascinating. It shows you there's... Oh, but like in this one, they... the little springs work. Oops. Oh, that's interesting. They have it in two different... one is flexible and the other isn't. But this one, like those springs function, like you can squeeze it down and they bounce back. Who knew? Well, you can get lenses to be cut in there. So I cut the curves that are based on those lenses. Those are Oakley lenses. So I know you can at least put Oakley replaceable lenses in it. There is a curve that basically all of the glass lenses are based on the, like, if you get lens blanks, they're literally just big circles and they cut patterns in them. So that curve is known, right? But mine are based on Oakley shapes, just so I don't have to deal with that. And then as we go on, you can have that cut to an Oakley replacement 422 or whatever it was, you know. All right. Would I say psychedelics? Yeah. Well, I do a lot of them. I was introduced to LSD when I was 12, and I've never stopped doing psychedelics. I'm a fan of DMT. I vaporized DMT. I smoked DMT that way. Yeah, I think it's the best therapy there is. It's awesome. It's sort of my centering tool, I guess you could say. So yeah, I do them. That's how. But I wouldn't say that, like, I don't like get high and make work, right? That's not. It's much more that they've opened my eyes to just a different way of viewing things, and especially DMT is a very graphic hallucination process, and it's beautiful. And yeah, one day I'll actually start making jewelry or making objects tied to that. I haven't had a lot of time to explore recently because I've been trying to start these companies, and all of them have very specific vocabularies, so I haven't had a whole lot of time to really just play and explore recently. Oh, that's cool. Well, thank you, Unknown. I appreciate you being my fan. Yeah, I think a lot of the new printers are coming out with print, or trying to get that, hey, here, I want to make this piece and, keep it, where that is my final product. So that's nice. That helps a lot. Well, let's go look at it. But Tim, there the issue is that people are complaining about spending $4,000. I think the entry level B9 is what, 7 or 8. I saw parts in this in the gray slate resin. Yeah, this little tank. It's beautiful. I'll give him credit. Its surface finish is beautiful. See, these are what you should be looking at if you're looking at making things for what's it? I wonder what their surface resolution, minimum printing resolution is, or whatever. Oh, so it's high temperature. Interesting. Supposedly, we did. Well, let's look at it. Come on, give me my numbers here. Flexure. Is a 4. 0.45. See, I never know what the hell. Where's turf 1500? Where is it? There it is. So its flexure modulus is 1.4. So that's 1.8. Flexure strength. So is that 45, maybe 33? Or is that... Oh, who the hell knows? I don't know what any of these numbers mean, obviously. They don't give you the same information. Right, it's not giving me numbers. Okay. Tensile strength. Green 26. Post cured 33. So that's 36. 17.5. So that's MPA. This is GPA. See, we got different measurements. Oh, there. GPA 1.4, 1.8, 45, 39. I don't know if higher or lower. Don't know enough about it, man. Don't know. All I know is I print it and bend it. If it breaks, I look for something else. Well, like when I was in Thailand, obviously I immersed myself in those shapes and forms and images, and they carry over in my work. Yeah, I mean, of course I bring things back from trips and stuff. Yeah, without a doubt. There might be forms, or there might be a style of jewelry that I wouldn't normally make, or there are all kinds of ways that I can be inspired by trips. I think you're going to be much more in tune designer if you're getting more input, if that makes any sense. Oh, that's true. Most other printers are open printing. Formlabs is like, you got to use their resins, and well, you can run them open. You can run them open, but it won't heat the tank, and it doesn't swipe if it's open. So it won't mix and heat because they don't want to burn it. If they don't know the heating and mixing stuff, they're like, well, we don't want to be responsible for you melting it out. Yes, that's true. That's a good point. But a B9 isn't. My point is that the B9 entry level is 7,000 or 8,000. It's not 4,000. It's almost twice as expensive, and people are worried about $4,000 being too expensive. Yeah, I just tend to print. I send people, my models, have them print it and have it send it to me, and then I play with it. I've still yet to find the perfect resin for, that using it as a final product where that's what I'm sending to people or handing to people. Hopefully one of these Tufts will do it. Oh, thank you. $4,000 is dirt cheap for a professional printer, or a printer that you can make money off of. Because the one that I make my master parts off of is a SolidScape, and that's entry level $25,000, and go up to $40,000. If you're dealing with an EnvisionTech, the higher end VisionTechs do a true 25 micron, and with their micro lens kit, I think it's like $190,000-$200,000 for that kit. Even EnvisionTech's desktop, I think, is $17,000-$18,000. And then you get into the 3D Systems machines, and they're not cheap. They're very pricey. They're fantastic machines, but the ProJets, I think, they start at 70,000, if I'm not mistaken, 75, 85,000. And those, you can get a $500,000 ProJet. So no, $4,000 is not expensive. Yeah, no, this Photon, a number of people have talked about this Photon, and it's like $400, $500. Yeah. And that's great. I mean, it's cool because it's an LCD printer, right? It's sort of the same as a Solus. It's not a laser, it's LCD. Is that the Photon? Am I right about that? My problem with that is that I found I truly need a 25 micron XY. And if you can't give me a 25 micron XY, it's really problematic for me. I mean, do I have the Maya head? Hold on, let me see if I can find this ring. I think it might be right here. That's interesting. I could have sworn I had... No. Maybe it's on this drive. I can't wait until everything's damn USB-C. This whole not USB-C thing is annoying as hell. Once again, the problem with the metal printers is resolution. Really, damn it. Hold on. I know I've shown it. Mayan ring. Oh, these are the STLs. This is the right ring. You can do it. Yeah, that's the right ring. Okay. So, where is this? Oh. So let us come here, import. Nope. Go here, escape. What did I do? Did I just crash us? I think the Lego Mars is an 80 something. Here, we'll look. One sec. Let me. Nope, I did. I got a little crashy there. So, shit. Sorry, this is now set for black. Oh my God, come on. ZBrush, that is one thing you really annoy me about. All right. Boop, boop, ba-doop, ba-doop. Import. Dropbox. Compiled models out. Parts out to JSON. Mayan ring. Boop, boop. Okie dokie. Here we go. Oh. That's not the Mayan ring. Wow, did I send that model out to him? Scheisse. That's not good. That's not even close to the ring. I need to resend. That's the wrong model. Oops. Okay, that's not good. Well, I'm glad I saw that. Okay, so there's one on the desktop. Import. Desktop. Mayan ring. Okay. oh my God, that's the old Mayan ring. That's so funny. It'll show you what, 14 years between the making that and then that last ring. Well, shit, that's annoying. Here, let's look at this. It's kind of funny to me. And since this is my thread, I don't care. Is that really the only Maya rings? Mayan skull ring. Okay, here we go. That's more like it. All right. So just so everyone sees this, let's go to our page here. And we're going to make a reference cube, okay? So let's start with 25. 25 2 millimeter. It's 1,000th, right? So that is 0.025 millimeters is 25 microns, okay? So we are going to make a cube, append with a star. We're going to make that a cube. All right. Oh, that's what I get for being lazy, isn't it? And so now, slider to subtool. So 25 millimeters. We are going to take that down to 0.0225. Enter. 0.025. 0.025. Damn it. 5. Resize subtool. Okay. Sliders to subtool. 0.26 close enough. So that is a 25 micron step, right? So now let's duplicate that. And let's make that 50. Or what was it? You said 47? 47, enter. Resize subtool. What are you talking about? Oh. Ignore me. That is 0.047. So you said that's what the photon is? 47 micron XY? Resize subtool. Frame. All right, let's see. Oh my God. All right, frame. W, let's send you home. Frame, send you home. Okay, so that is 50 microns. That's 25 microns, right? Yeah, they look like they were sand cast. They're rough. Did I miss the metal jewelry question? Yeah, they're very sandy. So if you're just doing something that's finished, that's smooth finish, you can do it. But for the cost and stuff, it's just a lot more cost effective to just do lost wax. I mean, I guess if you're doing a really complicated interweaving something, but then you design that texture into it and you smile through it. I mean, yeah, the surface, the particles are not small enough to have good clean surfaces. I guess that's one of the issues, is that the size of the particle that you're fusing together is only so small. All right, so, and now let's look at Mars. Was it, what was it? Something Mars? Was that the other one? Any cubit. Any cubic? Yeah. Oh, any cubic is the photon. You're not really showing me my... Is it... It's not the photon zero, is it? Photon series... Oh, there. Photon S, is that the snazzy one? So let's see what its XY resolution is. .47 microns, okay. And I think that's what that one is. And then Mars 3D printer. And it's, does it tell us what its XY is? .47 microns. Okay, so they're using the same LCD. So that's 25 microns. That's 47 microns. Yeah. You're a goof ass. Yeah. Okay, so 47 microns is the photon and the Mars. So they're using the same LCD screen, I imagine. So let's get our little guy back up here. Boop. All right. For boom, boom, W. I hate when I do that. So we're on that. That's still visible. So my ring's nowhere near. So let's go here. Let's bring our little groove right here. So you can see, honestly, there aren't many things here where you're going to lose it at 50 or 57. Okay. There it is. Can't find it if it's not on it. So really, most of this stuff is, in that 47 micron finish. I'd be interested to see how the model turns out. This is the stuff that I designed to be hard to read, right? And you can see these steps are like 1/10 of a micron or 1/10 of a millimeter, or a lot of my steps. And so it can be out of the range of a 50 micron printer. Now, that being said, I'd like to see it done. .72 microns. Yeah. Yeah, well, that's why I was excited about the Formlabs the XL, because is it 18 inches by 11 inches by 8 inches? And that's pretty sexy. $10,000. All this detail? Well, these are kind of crappy pictures. One second. Now, it's really interesting because this ring was designed for Formlabs to show. Well, I was working on the ring, but then when I started doing the detail stuff, I used it as a proof of concept as far as how detail works on rings or on jewelry. And what I was saying is, a lot of people think that this guy is bubbly. You notice he's very half round. There's a lot of dimension to his body. For as thin as this is, right? There's a lot of rounds to it. And so I'm constantly saying that you actually want to sort of think of things, especially when you start getting into small detail, right? I mean, if you're making, something this big, it's not really applicable. But trying to get this read, I said that this panther will read better than this panther, even though this one's twice as big. And that's because this one is a nice flat step. You can see there's dimensionality to it, but he's pretty flat. And then I went back to the back. I designed these, and they're much flatter, right? These little images are much flatter. They're just a series of layers. Now, the thing about them is they're not flat like this. They're just small flat planes, but they project at different angles, right? So I wanted to see how well, this printed. Now, this is a pretty big ring, too. I think right now this is like a size, I think it's like a size 13 or something. So it was big, A size 8, these are going to get substantially smaller. But let's go to Instagram. All right, let's just do Instagram. I think there are pictures here. It's funny, Shinya just sent me a picture of Chumley wearing that pendant. Come on. Here you go. So you can see how bubbly he is. And this is a little over polished, but it's kind of hard to tell what's going on there. Where you come back around to this. Oh, crap. Well, sadly, these aren't the pictures I wanted. I have another set of pictures of these guys, but the flat actually reads much nicer. This piece was a little over polished. This one actually came out much less over polished, and you can see how clear this stuff is. And those are, probably 50 microns wide. Those little lines. So you can see but this is where the printers start to lose it. If you notice, let's go. I wish I could zoom in on these. You can sort of see like this brush texture on the eyeball, right? You see that? And you see this really fine, soft. The larger the micron, the less subtlety of surface detail. So when you hear people talk about surface detail, they're always going to give you these idiotic models that are just these wires, right? And you see them all the time. And that's how they prove they can print high detail, right? Because, well, anybody can print a damn half a millimeter wire. That's not challenging. Oh, shit. As I slag into the wall. But it's this really subtle surface stuff that you lose, right? And that's the fight I'm always in, is trying to keep like that surface stroke stuff, as opposed to, that's the kind, when I say texture, this kind of stuff right here is what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like this. It's like, oh, look at how fine a detail that is. Well, that's wire detail. That's not very impressive. It's that surface detail that I try to retain because I like surface texture, right? So, keeping these guys' teeth. Most of that is just training people not to polish the hell out of everything. Let's look at this guy. I think, do we have I want, see this real light. I want that stuff to show up. I want these little cross hatchings down here. See that texture on that curve? That's the detail that you start to lose as you go higher microns or higher XY. That's what you lose, is that subtle surface stuff. I'm trying to find. Nah, this is so unorganized. I really suck at this game. I wish I was on The Simpsons. Yes, the investment completely can affect the detail. Yeah, you and me both, Oil. You know it. Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. And a lot of that, and especially you can see how I work. I want these strokes on there. I don't, and a lot of that is training your manufacturer, not to erase everything you put on it. Oh shit, it's getting late. I just came in to do a little stream to see if we came on. And look, you've got me talking. Yeah, no, I'm very, 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 very much about this surface because you lose it. It goes away. It's not. And sadly, that's what separates cool. Well, in a lot of ways, that's what separates fabricated work from like CAD work. It just, there's a certain touch that you lose in the computer, I think. What time is it here? 6:30 p.m. Why? I'd accept it in resin if it would hold up. You know, because if I could make glow in the dark skull rings, I would be so happy. But no one makes a glow in the dark SLA resin. I don't think. I've never seen one. I know there are glow in the dark filaments, but I've never seen I think it'd be fun to be able to sell something for $35-$40. That would be great. Finding a steel manufacturer, if I could only get the resolution, out of the steel. Because here, so I've been working with a group in Thailand called Salamander. They're awesome. They're really cool people, and they're really a neat place. Like, they've met all of their sustainability and recycling and chemical pureness and all of that. But the guys are cool. It's a couple guys from Israel who went to Thailand, and they're just a good company. I guess they got like an apartment complex, and they started becoming a shelter for people who were victims of the sex trade, and they gave them a job and a safe place to live that's secure, and they pay really good wages for Thailand, and their retention level is I think the average worker stays there at least 6 years. That's average. That's damn good. And they're a neat place. I like them. They're good people. And so these are these little stackable rings I wanted to make. And you can see that, and I mean, these were just really fast. Did you say control? Yeah, no. Oh man, I'm all about glow in the dark. I am the biggest glow in the dark geek you will ever meet, ever. There was a company called Ashley Wood is the designer, but 3A, and they would do all of their figures, and then they'd do a GID version. So like Iron Man glow in the dark. I remember, was it Revco used to make Universal movie horror, like Universal monster models, plastic model kit, and they had Frankenstein, werewolf, Dracula, and Creature from the Black Lagoon. And I was a Creature from the Black Lagoon geek when I was a little kid. Oh my God, I love Creature from the Black Lagoon. And I remember getting the glow in the dark versions of all of that. But you also got to think I grew up in the age of blacklight velvet posters and stuff. So I think I was genetically predisposed to things that glowed in the dark. Glowed, yes, my beautiful English. Glowed. They gloated. But that's steel. And I could get these and be able to sell them for $60 probably and make a profit on each one, not the stack. I think that was the price. Maybe in that $35 range. Maybe. Well, I intentionally use stones that glow in the dark. I make for an unnamed basketball player from Miami, I made a bracelet for his girlfriend that was a portrait of her son in melee that fluoresced, right? And so literally I just did a light bright sort of play out. I broke out all the melee in different like brightness, and then there were different colors, right? You know, they were yellowish, some were greenish, some were bluish, some were red. And so I broke it all out and I did just like a light bright grid and made a little portrait of him in glow in the dark melee. So fluorescing diamonds is something that I have a real hard on for. I love them. And I compose them for clubs. So I do that. Actually, this one had one of those skull rings. Where'd they go? Come on. No. This one has these fluoresce. So you get that pattern on the face of the skull and that hot blue melee. So I do compose stones, or I do compose jewelry for fluorescing diamonds. That's one of my weird things I love. Yeah, right? Yeah, no, exactly. That's off of the website. I don't have control of the ring anymore, so getting photos of it is tricky. But yes, it's something that I do. And then damn stone companies, because you ask for them, they act like that. Oh, well, you know, it's going to cost us to sort those out. No, it's not. You sort them out of your melee as is. That's crap you don't want in your melee, and now you're trying to charge me for it. You're just, oh, you bastards. Oh, I am a whore for tritium. I wish that, like, I tried to buy a bunch of it, and then they gave me this whole thing that I couldn't use it in jewelry because that's not important, but you can use it in keychains because that has a use. I don't know. If you're still out there in Switzerland, see if you can find me little tritium tubes, because that's where most of them are made. And they can't be that expensive, but then you go onto Etsy or something like that, they want like $20 for each one. I'm like, you're kidding me. What? Ooh. Oh, you're going to get me all excited now. What? Oh. Oh. Oh, we are so getting some of this. Ooh. Okay. Sorry, that's awesome. Oh, that's cool. If only it were biosafe. Look, I already had it planned. Are you ready? Wait for it. You know, uranium glass? Or what is it called? Vaseline glass? It glows in the dark. Or it's UV. It doesn't glow in the dark. It reacts to UV. I'm going to print my sake set in that. And I'm going to kill people because it's probably not biosafe in any way, shape, or form. Okay, that's awesome. Oh, look. Form Labs. A Form 2. There are settings available. Oh, I'm so buying some of that. Tim, you made my day, man. That's awesome. You got some? No. Yeah, because they got nailed for it. Because it is considered a radioactive. If you look at the radioactive laws, I actually called the. I can't. What's actually. Benyon might know this one. There's the nuclear something commission. They control radioactive materials and they set the laws for them. So if you have a keychain, or if it's part of a flashlight, or if it's a gun sight, it has a function. In jewelry, it doesn't have a function, so they get all pissy about it. Now, if you have it and use it here, it's okay, but you can't import it as a piece of jewelry. Yeah, that's awesome. That's so sexy. I love it. So anyone overseas who can buy tritium tubes cheaply, tell me. I want lots of them. Because I really want to put them, like, leave a space, like on something like this, right? Not put them in the eyes and stuff, but leave a space under this. So like you put 1, 2 here, and then you just get like a glow under the crown and things like that, where you're using it like ground effects. Oh no. I'm here to answer questions. That's really my stream's really about sharing information for the most part. Okay. I should probably call it a day. I wasn't planning on staying this long. Lee may be waiting for dinner. Um Is that better? All right. Well, I just planned to turn this one on and. Right? That's what I'm talking about. Man, I just love them. I like the little itty bitty tiny ones. I have a bunch of, like, I think they're 5 mil by, whatever it is, the 1.5 2 mil thickness. They're so awesome. Indeed. It's cool. I wasn't really planning on streaming. I just figured a couple people would show up and I'd ask them if you could hear me and see me. But we started talking. Yay, talking. Let's see. Sorry, my morbidity must look. Where is it? Really, it's just because our government was so sure none of this was an issue. So we were at 103,000 when we started. We're at 104,000 over the time that I've been here. This really bothers me. Binion's up here. Where's Bremer? Yeah. 42 cases. Yeah. Not entertaining, kids. So yeah. This is the link to the new class. That's going to start on the 18th. Yeah, I guess because he's out there trying. I don't know. Oh, that's so awesome. I've never even seen that. That's so cool. We're definitely going to have to get some hazard glow. $85. Just saying. Pretty awesome. Well, I don't think anyone allowed anything. I just think that, I think that in a lot of ways, no one in our government wants to be the guy who becomes the jackbooted thug that shuts down everyone's thing. So, yeah, I don't know. All I know is I started alcohol swabbing as soon as we had a case in the state in Washington. I was like, okay, here we go. And I don't leave my house, man. I leave my house to come here. And then I go to the grocery store because Lee's 77. She turned 77 the other day, and I don't want her going out, to the grocery store and things like that. So maybe every 2 weeks I go to the grocery store. And we have a little itty bitty grocery store by us. So it's not, not going to Walmart or anything like that. But I have a bottle of 99% isopropyl, and I spray the hell out of everything. Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's not an easy thing to say, especially when, you have 100 people that are sick and you know that 80% of them are going to get better. Convincing the population to actually, you could put a shelter at home order in, and who would obey it? I mean, hell, up here last weekend, we had a sunny day and all these idiots were at Alki Beach. And you're just like, I mean, we know we have an issue in our state. And it was like, what in the hell is wrong with you people? And yeah, I mean, look at the spring breakers and Mardi Gras, like that idiot church in Louisiana who said, oh yeah, we're going to do it anyway. And they had like 1,200 people he brought from 5 different parishes to his church. There was just that one little church, and they got 35 people in that church. I mean, I can't wait to see how many people from that other church get it. It's just like, God, can you be dumber? Yeah, I guess you can, actually. I don't know. I mean, I think everyone here knows that I'm a raging atheist, and I just think, this is a perfect time for, religion. Why would you stop going to Mecca? Why would you stop going to church? Go to church. All of you get together, because when your church doesn't get it, you've just proved there's a God, right? I mean, you have faith in God. He can save your kids and make your football team work and, all that crap. Then, get together. Get all together as much as you can. Pray sessions. That'll save you. You can't hear me again? Is that what you're saying? Well, did he overreact? Let's look. Let's look at Ohio's numbers. See, I mean, that's the thing. Oh, he overreacted. He shut everything down. Well, next week, let's see if he overreacted or not. Over here, Ohio. It doesn't give me the state statistics on Ohio. I mean, we could do it by county. So Franklin County, Ohio has 152 cases. So it could be argued that, maybe he did great. But I mean, that right there is the prime example of what I mean. It's like, oh, he shut it down too early. Oh, they didn't shut it down quick enough. Yeah, I don't, why did it stop in China? Because they'd shoot you if you tried to leave town. I mean, I remember when SARS came out and they had they put fences on everything. You're not leaving town. If you have a fever, they arrest you. They're like, put you in a room. But, they're not growing. They don't, that curve is stopped because of draconian measures. And who in America has the balls to be that draconian? We have enough lunatics with guns that people just shoot their way through a wall. You're never going to get it's never happening. I mean, without chaos. I mean, so it's tricky in this country because I think things are going to get really weird here in about a week or so. Oh, I thought you meant it in a bad way. Yeah, that's great. Because right now, Washington has 3,732 cases. But we have a high death rate. We have 174 dead because a lot of those, I think 35 people in one assisted living community died. So we got hit by our assisted living communities, got nailed because of those 3 or 4, whatever it was, 3 or 4 medical workers, that at the time no one knew, and they were working at different assisted living. And I guess they got 9 assisted living houses got nailed. So that's where a lot of our deaths come from, or Washington State's deaths. Yeah. No, I think, China in South Korea did a very good job of crushing it down. But once again, they were very serious about it. There's none of this. And sadly, I think, Italy is just such a population mass on top of itself. It got nailed. And Spain, a lot of Spain was from Madrid. The Madridians spread it hard and fast. It's crazy because, what's it going to be tomorrow? We're talking 200,000 people next 2 days because they said it was doubling every 2 to 3 days. That becomes pretty dramatic pretty quick considering we're 3 weeks behind Italy, I think is what they said. And our curve is not bending. We are not flattening the curve, sadly. Is that better? I'm getting mic lessons. Is that better? I think it's facing in the right direction. I know when I'm looking down, I'm mumbling. Fair enough. All right. I might be back tomorrow. I have to get some work done. So I might come in and stream while I'm working. See, Tim, it's just you. Every time you look away from the camera, it gets quieter. I don't think you've noticed that when you turn away, I get quieter. Oh. I mean, my levels are reading yellow, actually, so I think my output is hot. Yeah, over there I'm going yellow to red, so I'm definitely peaking out my channel, as you may say. Doop. Yeah, the walls are pretty bouncy in here. It's all, they're boards, ceiling tile. See, I'll give you a tour of the room. Oh, wait, we can do this smoother. Wait, are you ready? There we go. Conference room at Chehalis Coworks. Yay, Chehalis Coworks. All right, you all got a very special tour of my room. Well, their room, I guess. It's not really my room. I've been streaming here for what? It's been at least 4 months, 5 months, something like that. No, $75 a month for unlimited access, and I have 24-hour access, which is really nice. And I think in the 6 months or so that I've been here, I've seen 5 people, 6 people maybe. So it's not, I guess during the day there are more people, but I always come in at, like 6, and it technically closes at 6. So if you're not a monthly member, you can only stay until 6. Or the door only works for you until 6, because the key is on the app on the phone, so. Yeah, if only it were closer. I mean, it's about a 25 minute drive from home. So it's not like just around the corner. I don't know if you've seen here, let's do another tour. So let's do this. So that is part of that's all the sound stuff, right? And then that over there, I don't know if you can see that Pelican case on the ground. That's my laptop box. So needless to say, I don't travel light in this condition. I think I have the largest laptop in the world. That would be this, my Wacom the 24-inch Cintiq Pro with, what do you call it? With the Pro engine in it. So the Cintiq is the computer. It's a nice setup. I like it. They gave me this. They were so nice. I went down and I've been doing stuff at the Wacom Experience Center in Portland. So they were very kind enough to give me this Cintiq and the Pro engine and the ARM, so I could be portable, which was very kind. Now I just want one of the 34 inches for home, which we're working on. Tim still can't hear anything. Is this better for you, Tim? Is that kind of what things sound like? Yeah, they gave it to me. I do a lot of work with Wacom, though. I mean, I do shows with them, and they're very good to me. I have no complaints about Wacom. They are a good company as far as I'm concerned. Well, I mean, I go to trade shows for them, and they don't sponsor anything, because in Japan the word sponsor means they sort of believe in the things you do, and they refuse to have artists and stuff. They don't want to take the slack publicly for like things that come out of my mouth, right? So they don't consider it sponsorship. There's a word for it now. It's their artist. It was really funny. I can't remember what the word's called or how they phrase it. So it's not sponsorship. It's the artist we like group or something. I don't know. It's just super funny. Yeah, I mean, I am blessed because I put an insane amount of hours into something to get good at it. I mean, and I mean, I think that so much of all of this is just work. You get out there and you work and you're seen. And that's why it's so frustrating, because I didn't do the social media thing early. Some of my students have like 25,000 followers and stuff like that. And it's just like, oh, you're assholes. That's ridiculous. It's so much work. I so don't care about social media. It gives me ulcers. But I was told I had to. Because now, like Wacom and other companies, if I had 1 million followers, all of a sudden people are like, oh, well, holy hell, But Forum Labs, they gave us a special for the one class I ran. I've sold 23 or 24 of their printers through my classes, and I'm not getting a cut off that, That's just, they gave everyone, I think it was like a $500 thing at the time. And, so they were giving them a deal, but it's not like I got a cut of any of it. And I mean, that's not why I did it, but, but I haven't run a class in a year and a half. And so now they're like, well, what have you done for me lately? So, companies are funny. Yeah, I wish I knew how to get them. I suck at it. It's like on our streamers, Anna Carlina, she's a beautiful young lady. She has 25,000 followers. I mean, she's a damn good sculptor too, But I've been in this market a lot longer. I have nothing. It's insane. I don't have children that I can put into indentured servitude for social media, sadly. Alrighty. Okay. I'm going to go bemoan my great regret of social media. Yeah, I remember when we had, what really killed me on social, I'll tell you exactly what killed me social media wise. When MySpace came out, and this is before Facebook existed, when MySpace came out, I was pretty aggressive, right? I had just started doing stuff and putting it out there. And I had a lot of friends in Hollywood and stuff, and I used a lot of them. And a lot of that was just art objects and things as well. And I would sell off of it. And we had this young lady who did the same thing. God, what was her name? Tequila or something like that. So she was a beautiful young model who basically did a lot of meth, and she just stayed up all night and invited people. And so she invited people to my site as well. And at one point, I had 130,000 followers on MySpace. And the nice thing about MySpace was if you sent out a text or a message to the people who were following you, every single one of them got it. And it used to be a very powerful promotion tool. That's why lots of bands used MySpace early on. And then Facebook came out, and then MySpace just ate it. And then Facebook controls how many, I could have 1 million followers, and they're only going to send it to 25 people unless you pay for it. And, it's just, I truly believe that Facebook is the devil. I think that it has been an incredibly horrible influence on our society. And after that, it infuriates me how they behave. And so in turn, it's like, well, why am I spending all this time? If I'm not spending money, all of it's gated anyway. So what the hell, you know? I don't know. I find, because I remember when this whole echo chamber software came out, and it started with a record. It was music, and it started with a little music company, and you would suggest what you listen to, and so it would take people, the algorithm would find people who listen to the same music, and then it would suggest new music to you based on, like, let's say I have 10 bands, and this person has the same 10 bands, but they have 2 more bands. They'd recommend those 2 bands to me because they're like, oh, well, you all like so much together. And, you know, it's, but now they've done it with ideas. And I think that's incredibly dangerous because, you know, if I don't like music, I can just say, I don't want that band or whatever. But when it comes to echo chambering ideas, it's incredibly dangerous because you don't hear contrasting ideas and there's no challenge. And 2, they don't give a shit if it's true or not. And so you have this incredible echo chamber of self-belief that self-justifies bullshit. And, you know, if I hear one more Generation Z, because I guess we can't blame it on the millennials anymore. They're now old. But any of these douchebags who are like, oh, well, truth is relative. Fuck you. Truth is not relative. There are things that are facts. And just because you don't want to believe that fact and you see 10 people on the interweb saying that, well, so-and-so did this and that, blah, then, you know, it just gives me fucking ulcers. It makes me fucking insane that our society has gotten to the point where there's no such thing as truth. And I don't care who you voted for. I mean, obviously, I think Trump's an idiot. But, I mean, I knew Trump before he ever became a politician, and he's a pussy-grabbing idiot. You know, and the fact that he could even have a legitimate run is insanity. I mean, there's no way in the world, you know, 20 years ago that he could have ever even been considered for politics. And, you know, it's just the hell with credibility, the hell with truth, you know, and it's just, this idiot still has like a over 30% positive. But there was a poll the other day, literally the last few days, that said 31% of the population believed that President Trump had their health in mind the most, or, you know, they believe that he was the only person there who had the best in their health in mind. And I'm like, it's a cult. I mean, it is a cult. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what he does. It's a cult. And that makes me sick. And I don't care if it's on the left or the right. You know, I'm not a radical liberal or a radical conservative. I'm kind of a constitutionalist. And, you know, I believed that this nation was actually a pretty exciting experiment, you know, when it started. And it was a great form of government when you had, you know, 2 million people maybe. But I think it's really rough to, you know, there's some things that don't work now, sadly. Yeah, exactly. Oh, here, we're going to leave New York. Idiots. Sorry. Well, if you were Black Pixel, if you're more than willing to come over and take over my social media, I'm down. Yeah, many New Yorkers. Yeah. Well, of course they're going to spread it. I mean, that's the thing, you know. like in China, they would have put a big fence around New York and said, if we see you on the streets, we'll shoot you. And guess what? Your transferal, but they would have done it a month ago, you know. Because let's face it, they dealt with SARS, they dealt with MERS, you know. When you get these mass populations, of course stuff like this is going to start happening. I don't think there's actually they did the documentary series on Netflix, Pandemic. But I think it was in 2006, I can't remember the guy's name. He was part of the team that helped stop smallpox. Or was it smallpox? I think it's smallpox. I say that. I could be wrong about that one. For some reason, smallpox is in my brain. But in like 2006, 2007, he did a TED talk about how, you know, yeah, there's going to be a pandemic and they're going to hit hard because of how, you know, we have mass travel now. We have, you know, so many people in single places and blah, blah, blah. And then he got together and did that documentary series about pandemic. And then this hit. Like, I mean, it was fairly recent that they did the pandemic thing. But they went through, like, the different episodes go over, like, Ebola and, what was it that starts with an H? I think. Not Henta. Down in Mexico, there was a big outbreak there. You know, and so, you know, science and math are real. You know, I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but science and math are real. And, you know, when you have exponential growth systems, it's not a joke. You know, it really works that way. There's evidence of it. See, it works. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, without a doubt. Oh, yeah, don't get me started on Biden. The Democrats are idiots. I just... you know, if Sanders was 43, he'd have a great chance, but he's old and insane. And, I mean, Biden is really losing his shit. I mean, I think that, you know, he's early onset Alzheimer's or dementia. He doesn't know what the hell he's saying. Trump doesn't know what the hell he's saying. They're all nuts. And the fact that these are the people that these parties run just blows me away. I mean, and just to see how the entire Republican Party sold its soul to the Trump system, you know, just, I love all of it. I almost had ulcers when everyone was like, oh, but, you know, the impeachment, it costs so much. And, you know, the Democrats aren't allowed to run it this way. They're cheating. I was like, okay, well, first of all, there isn't a special prosecutor because Barr refused to give a special prosecutor. And you're all complaining about this committee, the exact same committee, mind you, that this committee has for 4 months been spending money on this investigation. And I always ask, so how long did the, oh God, what was the embassy got ran over and a couple people died? Benghazi. How long, do any of you know, how long did the Benghazi investigation go on? Run by rabid Republicans who, if there was any real crime, would have, don't get me wrong, I am not a Hillary supporter. Hillary and I have personal problems. Ain't got nothing to do with politics. I think she's a shit person, and that's because of the shit she did to me and my ex. And yeah, she can go fuck off and die. But the fact is, at least she was a politician. I would have voted for her. Well, I did vote for her. But, you know, it's like the Benghazi investigation went on for over 3 years and not one fucking crime was put forth. They didn't even, it's not like it got shut down by a Democratic Senate or something like that. They never brought forth a crime because they couldn't find a crime. Let me tell you, if those lunatics couldn't find a crime, there wasn't one there. But that took 3 years to investigate? Nah, it's just, it gives me fucking ulcers. Oh no, God, don't vote for me. My grandmother will kill me. Literally, physically, have me shot if I run for office. That is not an option for me. Yeah, no, I don't know. I just think, there's always a little hypocrisy because people want their side to win, and you'll change or this and that, and someone can call you hypocrite or blah blah blah. But when all of these yaggering jackasses have brought forth, because the new Democratic Party is based on the religious right, this moralism, and they think there's this damn, social moralism, and they all get caught, and they're all doing it, and no one cares, and all these priests and preachers and stuff almost lost their shit, over anything, I mean, it's just like they wanted to impeach fucking Obama for not wearing a flag pin. I don't know if you all remember that, but that's true. Lindsey Graham called for his impeachment because he did not. Now, of course, it never went to anything, but you had Republicans saying he should be impeached because he didn't wear a flag pin. Yeah, but I don't I don't know, but if anyone knows anything about the Constitution, he broke constitutional law. There's no question. I mean, word for word, it's there. There's no question. He broke the law. And once again, that's not criminal law. Those are constitutional law. And it's different. And they're like, oh, well, no crime was committed. No, but I'll tell you what, Thomas Jefferson would go up there and hit him in the head with a hammer. I mean, it's just, Andrew Jackson would have shot him for sure. I mean, it's like, it's offensive. And, yeah. I had a talk with young men who are just like, oh, well, we're doing great under Trump because they got their tax return and blah, 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 and stock market soaring. And it's like, you do understand that the stock market isn't our economy, right? I mean, we could stop the stock market tomorrow and it wouldn't change our economy. Makes me want to just die. All right, now y'all got me ranting about that. See how you are. See how you are. It's so funny. There are all these shows about politics on Netflix, and like there's one called Bad Buddy, and it just shows you like all the corporations just raping our society. And it's just like, one day hopefully that'll come back and bite them in the ass. That's all I can say. I can only hope, because there is no such thing as truth or justice in our society these days. Well, if Weinstein dies of coronavirus, that would be justice, I think. That would be at least good humor. Whether it was justice or not. Okay. Started getting me ranting about stupid shit. All right, kind and gentle folk. I'll see if I have time to come tomorrow. I need to do some work. Oh, dude, Tiger King was funnier than hell. I remember when that happened. Those guys, I just love. So what is it? A woman who killed her husband. A guy who's in a. What is this? A thruple. A thruple. What do you call it? A three couple. A thruple. Thruple. With his two hillbilly lovers, and then you have the guy who has like the weird tiger sex cult. And they're all going off on each. Oh my God. I swear to God. We have destroyed the education system to the point that entertainment is watching just lowest common denominator rednecks fight about stupid shit. The fact that History Channel is now just lowest common denominator rednecks doing dumb shit,
It's like, yeah, Gator King, Swampwood Brothers, Oh no, Tiger King is actually priceless. It's pretty damn special. And who knew that you could buy a baby tiger for $3,000? I know people who spend more than that on a Pomeranian, but you do wind up spending, $60,000 a year paying for its meat when it becomes a 200-pound monster. That's the problem. People buy them when they're cubs, and then all of a sudden they're no longer friendly, nice little things. They want to chew your damn leg off, and people try to get rid of them. But in the show, there was the guy who had the shootout with the police, and he released it was 35 or 40 wild animals, and they shot them all. And I remember when that happened, I was just like, holy hell, why would you shoot them? Just capture them. And it's interesting seeing it from the other side, the people who sold them the animals and stuff. It's like, wow. And the woman sells herself as this conservationist. She's all like, the other guys are horrible. She's no better. I mean, she bought those tigers. She acts like they're rescue. They're not rescue. She bought them. Oh, yeah, you do. I'll tell you what, Tiger King is pretty damn funny. I watched, what was it? Altered Carbon. I think I watched that. That was okay. It was entertaining. His Dark Materials is sort of what the Golden Compass stuff. A friend of mine worked on it, so I watched that. It's pretty. I mean, it's cute. You can watch it. It's not just a kid's show, It's okay. My friend Andrew Jones is the production designer on Mandalorian, so I watched that. Actually, I watch more TV now than I've ever done in my life because, like I said, my housemate Lee, turned 77 the other day, and she can't figure out how to use the remotes. So I try to go through Netflix and stuff to find her stuff to watch. So I'll sit and watch TV with her. Freaks. Oh, well, look at that. I haven't seen that one. Yeah, no, I've been, I'm obviously worried for her and all of this because she's a prime target. Alrighty-dighty, kind and gentle folk. I will maybe come in tomorrow. We'll see. Actually, I might come in tomorrow just to see what traffic on Saturday is like. I don't think there's much traffic with the shelter-at-home order. But I found that I am an essential worker to the state of Washington. It's very nice. Okay. I think that'll do it. Let me figure out how to get... Wait, I lost my stylus. I have to turn this on and go over here. This is so funny. So I have this, right? This is the buttons for this. And this button is programmed to switch my stylus to the second monitor. Now look, you see my stylus by his forehead? It doesn't work. But I come down here and I open the Wacom window. Right? I haven't touched anything. And now look. Boop. Now it works. What the hell is that about? I don't even know. This isn't even like the driver window. It's just... it's so weird. So weird. Oh, my allergies are killing me. This is the worst time in the world to have itchy nose and eyes. Oh my God. I spray everything with isopropyl. I'm just like swimming in alcohol. And I don't mean like in the good way. Okay. So I will see what's going on, and I'll probably come back and stream tomorrow. We'll see. It's just, unfortunately, gas and all that crap. But if not, next week, I'm going to start streaming at least once a week, if not twice a week. So I will see you guys soon. I got my settings set up. It's all good. Oh, well, it comes. I love it. Honestly, I love it. It's just that one button. It's just the one function of switching that it doesn't work. Because I use my keyboard is in my lap. And so there was a while that I couldn't find my keyboard. And it's programmed, and I can sculpt like this. Once you get used, I don't leave it up here. I hold it in my hand most of the time. And all of my control functions are here in the thumb. And so, because I don't use keyboard shortcuts for the most part, I pull all my buttons out. So I actually like it. And also, what is it? The Elgato StreamMate, I think, where it's just push button functions. Like, so I could end this by hitting the buttons over there. I left that with my old job because they were a bunch of psychotic fuckbags who needed to be shot in the face, and I didn't need the grief of fighting with them over a bunch of stupid shit. So I was like, okay, fine here. But both of them actually I find pretty useful. Yeah, of course. Anything that can do, because I'll tell you, I don't know. It's so I think so. There's a company called Columbia Gem House, and they're friends of mine. And she gave me a bunch of stones to work on or to work with, and they think they have, or I think they have a little casting facility in their thing, and they've been doing trade shows, and now all of this. But I think we're going to get it to the point where I start making one-off pieces and kind of put them up on Instagram. And hopefully that'll kind of stir some business towards the Instagram stuff where that's the place. I don't even have a website up, really. I mean, I have a stopgaps, like a 3-page thing that says, oh, this is who I am. But like, I don't have a sales website anymore. It's just, I don't know. It just makes me want to shoot myself. It makes me crazy. It does. All right, kind and gentle folk. I might see you tomorrow. If I don't, we'll definitely see you next week. Like I said, I'll start streaming regularly next month for sure. Okie doke. Have a great day.